O land that lies westward, wheel is set in the lee of all the ones that are, but the soft soon. It was shortly after the war began that I lost my freedom for the first time. Incarceration of other kinds was to come later, but this hunting down of me in my own land, this confinement and rule of law, breached a hole in my youthful self-confidence and tore the pattern of my future years. Threads in the weave come unpicked and life a ragged flag. But still you live your life, George, reworking the cloth with the thread of words, making sense of the chaos you see and have seen.
Chimi re gers na heichiu, draws chrích na reinas howlet vader. A clappel le skierhef, a skach bus a keer over makan na haarstut.
Oer jerek mar bot na hari, oer ban mar gile raad en ik aleegi, a gierig zoer a charnag, a sheenig le shiag aars a kaul a vedach, a faunach a kar afchil, ze gacht mar anal year jened, en tolk na chries na hoosle, chimi na vulje na shielig se leeme, han droos na eilcher feire, na anje roos is oor en bunnen speren, a breeknachig se gaachig le heilse, sheve aarsie aarsten en reelten.
Mr. Hay? Hello, Mr. Hay? George? Are you all right, George? Sorry, I didn't mean to startle you. I just thought I'd pop in and see how you're getting on. We haven't seen you down the centre for quite some time. A few of your friends were getting a little bit anxious about you, George. And your neighbour called. You know, the nice old woman across the way there. She said she'd seen you and you weren't looking too well. So how are you? Are you looking after yourself all right? I heard about your electric getting cut off. I mean, it must have been very difficult. Look, I've spoke to the electricity board.
I'm sorry, I have to go.
They didn't understand the full story.
Mol buranu, mo gunyanu, mochtachin is melach kleef. Liapi eri dumogrenu, machemu, haar gachreel, kulen suergu, faljanuanju, feran kroi hikku vitrein.
Look at me. Silly, drunken old fool. Dogged by demons, always snapping at my heels and making me fly. I'm running away now, looking for a safe haven and bolting for home. But running is not always away from the fray. As a young man, I courted trouble and ran to meet it, drunk on an explosive mixture of nationalism and youthful energy. Head and heart will not lead you astray, I told myself. Be complete and be alive.
Oh, Mother. I am an old man now, and I grieve for the tragedy of my youth, and for your happy, laughing boy.
In 1940, when war was raging in Europe, I defied the call-up my conscience would not allow. I took to the hills of my own country, my beloved Kintyre.
Stoer hier en aarschil, schier frischer fire sleesje.
Sitte, maddus yn iarach ys criach yn maryrg sy cheidjen, tra hiliw gialgrian y foch tra sy hwlings na knoch yn y geiddi, knoch gyda mwyn cnich gan sy cheredd, mwlwch yn ysliach gan y naifin, gwola ys gwola foiach, na tomen yn congals na sleidjen.
For 8 months I was on the run, using my wits, dodging the English authorities and sleeping under cairn and hill. In that time I went over all the old ground and trails of my boyhood. Totally alone, I had begun to see myself perhaps as others saw me. A bit of a wild man, a bit of a loner. A Gael by blood and temperament, I taught myself the language of my forefathers before it died on their lips to be lost forever. Anglicized by class and education, I'd been a scholar at Fettes and Oxford, where I played the wild Highlander with Gaelic songs and a blast of the pipes. Poetry. For it was the loneliness of the hills that held a mirror up to my own face and gave me the words to express what I found there. Charlie. But a question stared back at me in those moments. Was it my own face I saw reflected there, or one from some half-remembered past or distant future?
Cwg an y chwynjyn gyn yn cwantyn, fy glwch yn gost na hylner. Fwl yn rhan yn blar asyn, falus na caelgyn saf y gwyn, cloch harain an sgach arst gwyn, is ar maher ga cwrswrach. Dalt ba sy bôl o yin fwyn, yn ymol cian na crwynio. Yn ieg yn draen sy'n y geramad, sgyn dy gas i siaref ys boch ys crwy gwyn. Rhaeg sy'n ni, sa wa ar lein. na féims na chain, gar nucht a Gabhaibh.
Yn gddia ffili misnachal, na bwyllwmwch yn ffroig, ich crian hwyl leis, cwyd mw Sgeulachd, cwth gysdro, bwyd y gryms do halach gydach, aois ddeingyn ger gyn chio, lien gach bio a hawn ar hymanig, is bi umlan is bi bio.
Deorsa.
The purity of the air gave me the courage of my convictions, just as it had intoxicated and moved me with visions of other times. The wind that was blowing now across the hilltops was the same wind that blew for the ancients of my race, men who were gentle and soft, but fierce and wild when the occasion called for it. That same wind had wrinkled the face of Loch Fyne when I was still a boy, picking up Gaelic words from the fishermen of Tarbert, just as it will continue to blow through our future years, carrying the sounds of long silence voices to those who still have a will to hear them.
Hina hawn ag Deorsa. Digas Jack of Alish. Digas Jack. I'm sorry, George, but I've not taken the boat out today. Did you not see him?
Who?
That devil Charlie Greenwood. He's the reason we can't shoot our nets, boy. That wild tramp o' a man. A very devil o' bad luck he is. And I seen him this morning. He was watching me like a cat in the grass and me in his sights. So I just came home and I took a drop of salt and I threw it over my left shoulder, like my mother told me.
Did it work?
How work, George?
The salt, did it work?
Well, that's no exactly easy to say, George. Still, the day's not totally lost. Are you with me?
Aye.
Callum was my friend and teacher, and I entered his world with a quiet willingness. Fatherless myself, he filled a gap in my life with tales from a world then fast disappearing. From Callum, I learned the Gaelic names for the bights and skerries, rocks and headlands that we fished among. He taught me, too, of another world. A world beyond the realm of the senses, a world where spirits would suddenly break through the veil that separates us from them.
You know, George, it was in bright sunshine like the morning here that my brothers were away up on the hill yonder. And Dougie it was who saw her first. He was drinking from Topper and Jairna. That's called Jacob's Well. And her crying rooted him to the spot. And the others, they didn't hear or see anything to begin with, but Dougie saw a wee wifey, all dressed in black and crying she was. And they knew she was a Kintyre whose tears bring death. And so they ran and they ran. And they stayed in the house for a whole week after.
She's haunted me now for near on half a century. The Kintyre and her tears and dreams and dark corners, I see her, and I understand the meaning of her presence there. Forgetfulness would be a blessing, and I do my best. By God, I do. Ach, me, Gericht.
Aye. And if I knew what it meant, I'd more than likely throw you out, Georgie. Listen, that wee writer fella was here yesterday asking after you. Came in here on the off chance to seeing you, because he tried your flat, but you were out. Anyway, he says for you to give him a phone sometime. I told him you were away just now. Is that all right? Here. Oh, it's on me.
Oh, thank you, Lindy. Lindy, if anyone asks, I'm fine, but I'm not at home. You have lovely hands, Lindy. Very lovely.
Oh, George.
Slange.
Slancher.
Seo mar a ganich mi ddiafol, hwyd olian ag sgolaniysgich. Yn sialwch fi, y sŵl yn sochgroch, y sgrwd yw slwgantwch yn donin, sy llefwch siag y marst hyn opyn, ciawn galch troi gawf na heich y mochgwch. Cafwar agos fasgal, fadda ys fulwg na tŵl sy'n ciwn at y gwr. Gach cwl ys cwan, rô edd rôr, der struan kings lyn gyhyf ule. Gag cahag sgweb je ymwch twnje, fieug ys galion ys siant yn dwa, do grwy yn siel y gynje.
See that tree yonder, George? Above the big rock down on the shore? Well, that's Mrs. Black's tree. She's been dead a long time now, but she would always stand under that tree. Night after night she'd come and face the sea, hoping to glimpse her man again. He was lost off this point when his boat coped our. It undermined the sadness of it, and her so young and all.
Hi, heel vriend.
Ja, interessant.
Hallo.
Har du lyst på noe å drikke?
Ja, ja.
Bloody tourists, foreigners. I love them. Scandinavians with their own rhyming speech.
Jeg er trøtt i beina.
Dag!
Det har gått så langt i dag, da.
Dag!
Jeg går ikke mere. Jeg kan godt fortælle dig, jeg vil ikke ud og gå mere. Jeg er så træt. Jeg gider ikke at være turist mere.
Fuglen står og bringer fra Dheorsa og liv. Det rene ud i sengen, hvor isen færvar stiv. Hvor står du? Jeg har spilt a check med døden. To them, I'm just a drunk, a wild tarampo man. But certified and intoxicated, that is me. That's George Campbell Hay. Deorsa Mac Iain Deorsa. And this questionable duality is all that's left of my youthful certainty. In 1940, my life still had a centre and my words an edge. My writing, honed by the elements, urged my countrymen to let England stew in its own corrupt juices and to never surrender to Whitehall and the abomination of war. Ugh, that was just a bairn.
Ferran mo hinsra alapa, clown alapan mo gaib, miol is sú mo chtíisih, mo vishnach gus mo yeslav.
A múr náid na heorba, ies nan táir a rúnjin. Han grafel a garsi a skánig is gúrid. Had blúr hen a túrin na min sprúlich a rúmag. Ha muintir a talchan, skapje funtre. Is loanich waan achje, eiches la a thunje. Ga geir hoef an troje, haar kroeigaar a gulhen.
Even as the world of politics and men seethed about me, the places of my boyhood spoke to me afresh. Far from the city, thoughts and perceptions acquired their own magic as I wandered through the landscape behind the veil. And in my boyhood, I little realized just how the world would clash with my expectations, or how there lurked, even then, the beginnings of the outcast in me. We canny o stamping hungry ashes. They steer and the air wins the heart of them. In their hidden heart there dares the Grishach, and out of the Grishach is born the flame. We canny o grey ashes that lit but reek of the airless bield. Swing one, swing twa points they are reeking, swing three, and a breeze runs o'er the field.
Shaul a chinne gúna blúir, Sgeulachd an túl don chuoine ravag. Shaul am faun a gáil ar dochtan a rauag leis a chanan. Shaul na hachi an a chluicsin is scé an duslich an sanar. Ruile ec na cuileh gúar rí drúmarach nan gúna tavam. An nuiscachach le feálach le fúl ágar aig is lá. An ruar, an riastrag, an clíothach leis a chascast. Kenna noch gehorre, na sráid an bochge, an san scé gachúneach, a lasrichin sa deachtach, is ratagan is scrital a luch hunni, is tair haik a reibag an brainig héle an brúg táitje túchtjum.
Is cóil noch ga gachtach an bás a heach go grat nan gaintje vúlug, no as spár ni mis chlach is heléan, vanni, gudde mer coid is nach clonir. Cóil noch go féis, Sheann hís ahhasteach na falla gumant.
Look at it. And so the irresistible forces of war finally got up with me. I'd never fooled myself that it wouldn't happen, but capture and confinement is a terrible thing. I ran the risk willingly. I'd said I would defy them, and I'd done my poor best. But the police had kept watch on my mother. My poor, dear, suffering mother. Tailing her when she went out. For her sake I capitulated, but my heart was in my mouth when I did that. After prison, I was conscripted into the army where stupid, menial tasks gnawed at my soul like a cancer. But this khaki world drew me to new horizons and a galaxy of exotic smells, colours, smiles and glances from North Africa through Italy and Greece. In magnificent Macedonia, where the commonplace is still heroic and where I heard stories of endurance. How they spent the years and months of the war filled me with pity and shame. Brave though it was, something terribly dark happened to me there in the sunshine. Something that infested my soul, blighted my mind, and poisoned the promise of my youth. It is said, and I have said this too, but the images grow dim now, that I was attacked by men with knives and guns, by political extremists who heard my Gaelic and took me for a communist agitator. Well, yes, certainly, there was that. There was terror and pain and darkness, and the darkness is still here. Darkness and long, long shadows, where lingers who?
George,
George, what are you up to now?
I've got my jacket. Get on. Let go.
Let go, George. Let go.
George.
I'll have to take your jacket off.
I don't want
Come on,
my jacket
Sandy.
off. No, I want my jacket.
Not now, you'll get it later. Come on, George. Let go. Come on, let go, George. What's the matter? Come on. Come on, come back to us, George. Let go. I'll turn the telly on for you. See what's on. Look, George. George. Do you want me to call the doctor? Do you want me to?
Along the coast, the promise of warmer days ahead is felt by the waders.
Jeta bheach gyd éiri wangnirach na gréniu, no jeta veral a laia sa lá siachad sléirsing. Samar sin go héine inis van chier ma spéren, mo gria an veils go chich ro oige is eil tjin joi eivnis. Lim ventin boutrum merri, ma chas fruch nin jaat, fada ook ma wa bujonach, an tranjon is shentni.
Sheann an tausan clis na haid ó aire fun an eol, san Sheann a luasgan a hlachtec, se curvi fat na cheol. Hir griavis gu gach creit a ruin, ach eisteach rú chóir. Chachur ceann is crí imerolú, bí imelan is bí bell.
Yoke of my neck, this age comes o'er me. Snare of my feet, the grey, the still. Between the eyes and the light he is standing. He stands between the deed and the will.
skippe, long is skippe, gu is gillian, gu is gillian. Muir is mishnach, Scot and ruyig, shawl is sheag, Krech is immerst, krech is jullach, Frus is frinnes, glug is friggen, gu is gillian, long is skippe,
If you were standing out at the point, with a fleet of boats out there, if you were standing out there at the weekend, there wasn't a word of English spoken. Every word that was spoken was a Gaelic. In my father's day, there was a table in this house. My father was a bit of a scholar, and he was the head man for the dividing up of the money for the wages.
Fake.
A Charlie Greenwood on the shore east. Shawl, who's a good shussen at tea.
Look at Mhic. Hoed me uit kan priebes en George Deorsa bij.
Get your car, Levi. Get your car.
Ach, they're all dead. There's no word of Gaelic spoken, only English. They're all strangers here.
Heisker, the heeds o air, man and canna, they ken me there.
She's a seeker on boat, she's a Solon's look, she'll strike down out of nowhere. She's a reaper, she's a reaver, she's a racer, she's a terror don, it takes the wind to pace her. The shape of her thoughts is on her in her mould from bow to stern. Her driving mood speaks out to her in the way her shoulders stand.
Long is skippe, gu is gillian, Muir is mishnach,
We were away off the cleats. Oh, he come on for the southward. There was plenty of herring, but oh, he come on strong. Most of the boats reefed down and were heading for home, but we came across this boat off the buoy. Are you no thinking of heading for home, lads? I asked them. No, they said. We're thinking to hear haul. That was the last we seen of them. Oh, it was wild.
Outside a lagan he did struck her. Down from the home hills come bundin' a living squall that whopped the water. It raxed her sail and over it threw her. Afore the break o' day in the morning, when it wasna dark and it wasna dawning, from the rocks on the roo they had a crying, a cainchach's keening. They kent their story. They kent what on sore cry was saying, and whose lair was laid in the wrack and seaweed. And they sat there with the day breaking, grey face on the men, and the woman greeting.
I've heard o' land that lies westward. Weel it's set in the lee o' all the ones there are, but the saft sooth.
Thon was the land where Brendan came, but his Cugallach's track has faded for aye on the sea's face. Follow ye may, but you'll follow no more than your own wish and the wind's way, for Brendan's land is hidden from men by the hand o' God. Ye will drift with the tides as they shift and swing by the side of the land, and quait the fish will glim at you to cold eyes, and there ye will rock in the tangle and the turn, till the deed rise, and the hunters that sought ashore that seeker never found.
And so my life came to an end. I spent my time setting out poems in order, chipping them and polishing them in the sweet speech of ancient utterance. So only this voice remains. You will go, poems. You will go boldly, not looking aside on your road, crying to my listeners and all the earths the true meaning of my music.